Welcome back to Meg's Mysteries. Back to the cabin. John Lee Jackson here, 45 years old, and it's the time for a lifestyle change. After 3 tours in the Army, the first one right after high school in the 70s, I was only 18 years old and I reported for duty in the Vietnam War. It was near the ending, but still, our boys were being shipped out. After the war, I re-upped and did 2 more tours. The Army was all I knew, and I wasn't in a rush to return to civilian life. When I finally came home, I married, but that didn't last. I had great success in my own business called High Security. It was one of the first security firms around, and people these days need a lot of security. That's why my marriage broke up. I was always working. I hired all the vets, and the business took off. For 15 years we did well, but I was not happy. The world has changed from bad to worse now. People have no respect anymore, and there's so much hate in the world. I needed change, and so I did. My parents were up in years and took off for Florida, like so many did. They left the house to my sister, Annabelle Lee. Yes, that's her name. My father loved the Edgar Allan Poe poem, Annabelle Lee, so she got stuck with it. I was glad I was named after my favorite uncle, John. Well, back to the story at hand. My uncle passed away and left me the cabin and the property in the Adirondacks Mountains, way back in the woods. He lived there for many years. I always loved it there as a kid and spent many summers with him. At first the whole family would go, but in the end it was only me and Uncle John. He taught me everything I knew about survival and respect for all nature. He said, "It was here before us and it'll be here long after we're gone." He was so right. Nature has a way to survive, even when people try to destroy it. She still survives in the end. He used to tell me all his stories as we sat by the fire pit at night. I soaked them up like a sponge. I still remember them all to this day. One such story stuck in my mind, but I'll get back to that one later. So now I decide the world is just too much. I need a change. So I told Anna, I'll be moving to the cabin. You have the house. So I sold my business to my Army buddies who worked with me. I took the money and I moved back to nature, if she'll have me. Anna will take care of my finances and the checks from the Army. She can send me anything I needed. I'll keep in touch with letters, just like in the old days. No phone technology for me, just good old-fashioned communication. It's springtime now and the cabin needs work and the area cleaned up a bit, but I'll leave it as natural as I can. Uncle always said, leave no carbon footprint if you can help it, and try to respect all of nature. So no electricity, only solar now. A hot house, a smokehouse, and an outhouse. The cabin is just the right size for me and my uncle's old calico cat, named Calico. He left her here to take care of me, so I'm not totally alone. She's really old, so I don't know who takes care of who. I have fresh well water, an old wood fireplace, and a fire pit outside. What more can I ask for? I hunt, fish, and gather food from the woods. Wild mushrooms, berries. He taught me so well how to survive here. As I move in, I feel a presence. It must be him. But I'm at peace and I'm not alone. I know he's always around. I feel he's always watching me. After a couple months, Anna sends me supplies I need. The town is far away, but I get to the local store to deliver what I need, coffee and canned goods and other things. Anna sends them the money from my joint account, so I don't have to go see anybody. They just deliver it at the end of the trail and put the supplies in a big wooden box. They also pick up the letters I write to Anna and mail them back to her. That is our agreement, the same as Uncle John had with them for years. They all remembered me as a kid, and they're happy to do this for me. I go when it's delivered the same time every month. I don't even take the truck anymore. I just hike down. I pull a sled for the supplies right through the woods. But I feel something is always watching me in the woods. Very strange. But I still feel at peace here. One night I was by the fire pit having coffee when I heard a rustling noise by the shed. I went to check it out. Calico was just laying by the fire. I said, "Okay, Tiger, you just stay here. I'll go check it out. I don't want to disturb you." So I went back in the back of the shed, and I saw a fur ball. It was a little, "What is this? What do we have here?" A little furry face looked at me. It was a wolf cub. I asked, "Where's your mama?" And I looked around. The wolves are usually in packs, and she might be near. But there was nothing around. He followed me back to the fire pit and just sat by my feet. I fed him some leftover dinner and water. I know I shouldn't feed a wild animal, but he was so hungry. So now I have an old fat cat and a young wolf cub for my new companions. I said, "This is Calico, and I'll call you Roscoe after one of my best friends. Roscoe, don't eat Calico. Calico, don't scratch Roscoe." So we all became best friends. They sleep all day together, and they sleep on my bed at night. Sometimes they follow me all around all day. We leave Calico home when we go hunting or fishing. She's too old to go into the woods. Roscoe comes with me. He's a great hunter's guide, and he's quiet when we hunt or fish. Like he knows how to hunt. It's in his true nature. So one day, one sunny afternoon, we both went fishing. He sat in a sunny spot on the rocks, and I fished. Then we heard a rustling of leaves behind us. Roscoe growled, and I said, "Quiet, boy." I looked behind us, and a huge figure behind a rock in the trees was looking at us. Then one of the stories Uncle John told me came back to me. He used to tell me, "We're not alone. There's always something in the woods. So show your respect, and you'll all be fine." I caught a lot of fish that day, and I was going to smoke them. So I threw a couple toward the rock and turned around to fish. Roscoe kept quiet, and when we turned around again, the fish were gone. I guess whoever it was hungry and just left. That night, as always, we were sitting by the fire pit, Roscoe, Calico right by my feet. Then Calico jumped up and ran into the woods. She never did this before. She always stayed close to the cabin. I called and went to see where she went. We went after her. She's too old to be in the woods. I called, and Roscoe was with me. Then I heard a noise behind a tree, and a huge figure appeared, holding the cat and petting her. Calico was purring away, happy as a clam, like she knew him. I looked at the huge, hairy figure right into its eyes. Then it put the cat down and just stares at us. I was not afraid at all, which was strange. It was like we knew each other from before. Maybe when I was a kid. Who knows? Then Uncle John's story came back to me. He said, once he was hunting and he saw a Bigfoot, Yeti, or whatever you want to call it. He said, I saw it many times after that. He never harmed me or scared me. We just said hi and went about our business, living here in peace. He's a gentle giant, and he belongs here more than we do. It's his home, and we're just visiting. He comes by now and then and say hi, and then he disappears again. Of course, as a kid, I didn't believe him. It was just a story by the fire. Until now. Uncle even said he shared his food many times with them, just like old friends. So I started to talk to him in a gentle voice, and I said, I'll call you Al. He didn't seem to mind, so Al it was. He came by every now and then. When I didn't see him, I knew he was around. I would say, I smell you, and I would laugh. Come out wherever you are, like a game the children play. So I live in peace and freedom for many years, never telling anybody of my special friends, not even Anna. Who would believe me anyway? So now when it's hunting season, I see hunters close by our area. So I put up signs. Beware, Bigfoot lives here, in bright red letters. The hunters laugh and go on about their business, but don't come too close to my area. The locals know I live here, and they even gave me a nickname, Bigfoot, or Crazy Old Man. So people just leave me alone. But I'm not alone. A couple of times they would spot me dressed in my camo outfit and a big wolf by my side. Maybe they really think I am Bigfoot. But we all know better. The real one is still out there. Not the monster they say, but a gentle giant who just wants to be left alone to live out in peace. Who can blame him? That's all what we want, right? What are your thoughts, real or fiction? You decide. I know the real answer, but it's your call. Is Bigfoot just a legend? Come back for more March stories, monsters, myth, and magic. Until next time, you all have a good evening.